Okay, massive update incoming, and this is gonna tell you a lot about what is happening. So if we're jumping into this with the client update, the Forgotten Depths raid is coming. So they've been saying it's coming close for a long time. Now it's getting closer and closer and closer. And I think this update is the one of the last steps before the actual raid drops. And as you can see by what some of the things in here, these are all signals for what we will likely see during the raid. So let's start this off. New status effect, stagger. So boom, okay, we're gonna have a new effect, and icon, poison. Okay, that's cool. So it's gonna be kind of like, I'm guessing, continuous damage, but for characters that they didn't want to have just continuous damage, or that's more like a fiery, burny type effect. Now they're gonna have one just for poison only, so that might be more to do with Ursula. Now, another new status: tenacity up and tenacity down. Now this is massive, and I was calling some ideas for the 7.5, the rest of the gear to get to gear tier 8, as being one thing we haven't really seen a lot of, especially not in 7.5. There's no tenacity and potency in things like that. So I was expecting to have a little bit more of that to make characters stronger, more resistant, more deal more effect, that type of thing. So if that is the case, having tenacity up and down with more boosts, that can be massive in this bad effect, helpful effect meta that we're in at the moment. And then there's another frame, portrait frame added into our inventories, and then a raid gift drop coming. So there might be, hey, here's a gift for raids coming out, drop it out. Or it could be like a purchasable. People in the club can buy raid gift boxes or things like that they can send out and get things for raids and things for raids for the club. So either, not sure. Now, Misk, some of these things. Now, people were calling this was going to happen, and I was on the fence whether it was going to be or not. So Dashes swapped with Queen of Hearts, Yokai added to a node in Grands, and he's going to be put into the ultimate chest and Grand chest. And then the Yokai, Gantu, Bubbles, Eric all going into the premium exchange, so they're going to be available for on the gems. Now, what I'm surprised at is that Yokai got added so fast to become farmable. I thought maybe another cycle of PvP before he might become, but no, he was boom in new PvP for him, and now you can just go and farm him. So that is going to be a massive change, and kind of showing you how things are. Now the question is, are they going to do the same for Jack Jack? Is Jack Jack then going to be farmable once he is finished as his PvP reward? So that'll be interesting to see, as the rest of the Incredibles are farmable. But he was like the locked away gift, so maybe he's just going to take a little bit longer to get. But who knows? Maybe they'll put him at the very end stages of farmability. Now, this is probably one of the biggest things about the update that we're going to be getting into. They have changed harmful immunity. No longer will it interrupt harmful effects. There's not going to be like a cleanse when you get it. It's going to just prevent any more harmful effects from that point. Now, Golden Hammer, massive, big, one of the biggest, massive news. Only used once per battle. People were calling for this long ago, and now it is here. They have just said, nope, only one Golden Hammer. That's going to change the meta. No more dying, reviving. That is consistently, massively long battles. It's going to be massive. But also, the more important reason why I think they did it is for raids. They do not want people coming into the super strong team, one of their strong members coming out, and they don't want them just be coming back. That's going to be massive. That is humongous. Now, I think there's a few things that need to be sorted out with this, because currently Davy Jones has Hammer written into his kit that if you use him while his dead man's chest is there, it'll just auto revive him. If you can only use it once, it's absolutely horrendous. That's terrible. So I think some things need to be tinkered with that. It's going to be interesting seeing the change of meta, but also in the raids, because recently they changed things so in towers that if you lose a character and then revive them with Hammer, it no longer counted like they were dead when you get to the next stage, whereas it always previously used to. So it's going to be interesting. Maybe per level on towers, it might be like that. We'll have to wait and see. So it'll be interesting. I can't wait to see how much influence this will have. Stasis now removes harmful effects, so it's kind of like a cleanse now. So it is a cleanse as you go into stasis, and then you can't be affected by anything. So that's as it kind of probably should have been, as it's for its effect. Now, with the Golden Hammer change is massive, but this is the next big news. They're making changes to speed increase and decrease, which is another massive part of the meta. Now, I think, again, I want to put it out here now, I think they're doing this now to manage raids, because currently you can just fully control opponents with slowing them down, with chewing into their speed meter and things like that. We'll read through this and we'll change that, and I think this is how they're going to get away with raids not being able to have that control all happening, but there may be ways around it still. So they have changed it so that speed meter increase and decrease is now going to be more like a helpful effect or a harmful effect. So they made little effects for them that just happen as they happen, and what that means is that if you have helpful immunity or harmful immunity, then you will no longer be affected by the opposite speed increase or decrease. And so that is pretty massive, and it actually gives people some protection and ways to protect around this thing that has just been draining and turn controlling and all that kind of stuff. So at least there'll be some protection of that. And they've also say there's going to be chance to resist it with your with potency and tenacity and things like that. So I think that is going to be very interesting to see how this is going to be. So here we go. This is like the big breakdown, that it counts as a helpful effect. So that means, but it's not gonna reside and stay on the character. It's just gonna go and activate and gone. So it's not gonna stay on characters, say like Elsa, Scrooge, and Sheriff, who say you need to have the more damage per helpful effect. It's gonna be in and gone. It's not gonna be a permanent like stay here for one turn and then gone. So it should. I find it so hilarious that it says it should be blocked by helpful immunity. If a character gets an effect with harm with helpful immunity, then you should be able to boost your own speed. It's just hilarious how they say it should be blocked. So they're preparing themselves for things not working. That is crazy. So they should have just said it will be blocked by this, and then if anything goes wrong, then get rid of it. But I suppose they're just leaving in here. Things go wrong. Things are probably going to go wrong. just gonna put that out there. And the same for speed meter decrease. It's not going to be stacked against, counted as a bad effect when it's happening, because it's going to be there and gone. So X number of bad effects, that's not going to be counted, kind of like Goofy, I think it is, or Donald. And then it can be resisted from potency and tenacity, as we were saying. So that is going to be massive. So if you've got super high tenacity, then maybe you'll be able to resist a whole lot of these things. And then blocked by harmful immunity. So if you got harmful immunity, then you should not be able to decrease your speed meter. So that should be, and likewise, so it's a flip from either helpful or harmful. So So that is kind of good. Now, I will mention a few things on this, is that I think the raid bosses and raids will probably most likely have the harmful immunity. So it's going to be blocking things like you just chewing down their turn meter so you can get heaps of turns in. They're also probably going to be giving you, as we have seen, helpful immunity. So they're going to stop you from getting more speed meter. But they've already shown as well that they're going to be giving intimidate and things like that. So that already blocks speed meter increase. So there's going to be a whole lot more ways to block speed meter increase, and there's probably going to be a whole lot of it in raids. So wow, that's going to be interesting to see how that all stacks up and how it all works within the actual raid. But also the effect this is going to have on the meta. Now, the effect that this is going to have on the meta is going to be massive. Elsa has got super high tenacity, potency, all of that. She's going to be able to resist a whole lot more. She just puts her even better. Big Hero 6, the whole lot altogether. Baymax gives harmful immunity. He gives harmful immunity. He cleanses, gives harmful immunity. He gives all of that. It's going to make Big Hero 6 so much stronger and better, and you're not going to be able to touch them. People are going to need to have cleansers on the teams, and at the moment, Baymax is definitely the best one, but this is going to be nuts. So you're going to need people to go in and cleanse and purge, and this is going to be nuts, and it's going to shake up the middle a little bit. Although just putting it out there, Big Hero 6 is still going to be smack bang now, just solidified at the top. Even though this may, even though you may be able to resist a little bit of these things, they're still going to be super dominant. So there is that. Then it goes down and says about people like Shan, Zurg, who haven't get an extra turn after their abilities if this works, and same for Wasabi and for Big Bad Wolf is gonna be. They're saying that they're not gonna be affected. They're gonna be getting the extra turn even if they have helpful immunity or things like that. So that's not speed meter gain, it's turn gaining. Lastly, there is going to be the magic increase and decrease. So when there are characters who are increasing cooldowns and things like that, that is what this is. So there's going to be, now this is also going to go through the new system, and so that means there's going to be a helpful effect for the increase of your own, and harmful for the decreasing. So that's also going to be affected by helpful immunity, harmful immunity. So this is going to be massive. It's all going to be part of the raid system, I would say, but also these newer characters like we've seen with Elsa and Big Hero 6. And it's going to be so much more paramount to have characters like that. They can give you those effects. They can give you that protection. So this is going to be nuts. A magic ability will now consist of being blocked by helpful immunity, and then the same thing by harmful immunity, the decrease. So big changes, massive changes ahead for the way this is. They're in essence little changes, but they affect a lot, especially as we've seen in the current meta, and especially going forward into raids. We know bosses and all that kind of stuff generally have stacked effects and all that kind of stuff. We have seen all sorts of other bosses and other modes and other events when they're empowered and all this kind of stuff, and they've got super amounts of abilities. Now all they need is helpful and harmful immunity. Helpful immunity, boom. Harmful immunity, boom. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be very interesting, and all this said, it looks like raids are pretty much just around the corner. We'll have to see when this drops. We'll see when it comes. People are thinking, hopefully start of November. It is start of November. We have to wait and see. Let me know what you guys think about these changes. I can't wait to see them implemented. Massive changes with Hammer, massive changes with the way speeds are working. And I'm pumped for these new effects and new things being brought to the game, and hopefully will bring more balance. We definitely need more balance, so I'm game for that.